So the next game that we're gonna go over is the Giants and the Commanders. The Giants took care of business in Washington with a 20-12 win. Um, a lot of good things came from this game. The box score obviously doesn't show the what the game did, but what was some things that you took away from this game in general?
So we knew this was going to be a competitive game. Obviously they played 2 weeks ago. It ended in a tie. In the Giants home field. This time they go down to Washington, play again. Of course, it ends up being another close game. This game had some controversy at the end with some. Well, there was a few calls here. So there was the call where the Commanders got the penalty.
Right.
It seems like they were lined up fine. It seems like the receiver checked with the
With the
ref,
ref, yeah.
and then 2 seconds later, the
The
ref
ref
is
just
throwing the
calls.
flag and
That's
calls a penalty,
insane.
which is savage.
Yeah,
And
that's
my
insane.
guess is that probably happens a lot more than we think.
Yeah,
It just feels like the NFL refs would do something like that to them. Like
right.
it just feels like they're savages that way. So there was that call,
And
and
the
then
PI call.
we even heard the guy in the broadcast. They bring in the ref to kind of put some things into perspective and add a little bit of commentary about what they see from a real ref's point of view. And he said, "Yeah, I wouldn't have thrown that flag. They weren't out of position in the way that should have warranted it in that point of the game."
Yeah,
So there was that, and then on top of that, there was the pass interference play or lack of pass interference play, where the same ref that said he wouldn't have called that other play, says that that's pass interference. If you're gonna call that at any point
yeah,
in the game, you call it there too. But look, I mean, it's said after all these type of situations, it's not that it's fair or anything like that, but if you put yourself in a position to win the game and not you need to put yourself in a position to win the game and
and
not
not
let the
rely on the
refs
refs. Yeah,
quote unquote steal the game from you. Um Look, if you're Washington, tough loss. But if you're the Giants, I don't think you go and you look like, oh yeah, the refs gave us that game. No, you won the
yeah.
game. You
No,
did
there's a
what
lot
you
of
you did
things.
as what the Giants did, what you're supposed to do.
Right.
For the Commanders, those both of those calls could have been different, and they might have still not gotten in
Yeah,
the
they
end
may
zone.
have not have
Right?
converted or
Right. So
put
because
points on the board.
if they don't get pushed back on the penalty, then they're closer. But they had another try and they might have not converted. It was like maybe they were like 2 yards out or something like that.
Right.
Um, if you if you get the pass interference, you get the ball right by the end zone. I mean, who's to say that you get in from there?
Yeah.
Now, once you get, even if you get in the end zone, any of those two instances, now you still have to convert a 2 point conversion,
Yeah, which
and that's
is
just to tie it.
yeah,
And
exactly.
then you go to overtime if you get all those things right. So it's hard for you know team like the Commanders to say like, oh, they robbed us of the game. I mean, you might have not won the game anyways.
Yeah,
They might
exactly.
have took some of your chances away, but I mean, I'm sure you could go and ask the Giants coaching staff, and they probably feel like at some of their games they had the calls not go their way, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I was saying before. You got to put yourself in a position to not let the refs affect the outcome of the game. Play better, and you're not going to be in that position. And some call like that happens, it's whatever. You're up
Yeah,
10 points,
exactly.
and with 2 minutes to go, there is nothing that's going to happen anyways. So
As far as the Giants though, there's a lot of positive takeaways from this game. Although, like, say that those circumstances could have kind of
oh yeah,
shifted the way this whole game could have turned out to be, but I mean, one the goal line defense was stellar. Kayvon Thibodeau was literally rushing the quarterback, then dropped back into coverage and made a play and stopped them from getting into the end zone. That's one thing. I mean,
Saquon back is the other
yeah,
thing.
Saquon back
Saquon at the end of that game was
and
running like
with tenacity.
like rookie Saquon, where he
Right.
was a beast. Like that's the type of running where if you have a guy like that, you're gonna be able to win games
No.
because you're gonna be able to just line up, run right at them, and they can't stop you. Almost
Yeah.
like Derrick Henry does in a way, except Saquon is his own. He'll
He's
spinning,
shifty
juking, and
and
moving
yeah.
all around. But yeah, Saquon was a huge part in this game because he allowed them to kind of go on the late drives to really chew the clock down and advance them down the field late in
And
that game.
yeah, and Daniel Jones made some key throws. There was a 4th and 9 play where you know, he had it seemed like he had the offense in command. Richie James, he was getting on him. Um I believe it was yeah, it was 4th and 9. There was multiple curl routes and he fitted into double coverage. I mean, had it been a pick, people would have probably been saying like, "Oh, he shouldn't have thrown that." But he made a really gutsy throw and he made a throw that you don't see often in the NFL. Um, and I think it's just telling. Like it's like we've seen the progress in Daniel Jones throughout the season, and then on top of that, it's like Daniel Jones, he's cut down on his turnovers. The Giants are the second least turnover team in the NFL. So I mean, just a lot to take away from this game and what the Giants were able to do. So